Welcome to Create a Cast with your host, David Welch. Today's episode is kind of a throwback to a little earlier episode, but it's going to cover it's literally going to go over what people are waiting for to get out there. Now, I know the necessity to wait when it comes to building your craft. I get it. However, there are some out there in the writing community that have been in school or actively writing for a long time, but they haven't published and they're holding back for God knows what reason. So this episode is for you, for those who are sitting back, relaxing, chilling out, cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of creative writing thugs showed up and said, hey, what is holding you back from getting that book done? It's not writer's block. We already know that's fictitious. It's a state of being. It's a state of mind. Writer's block. Now, there are legit circumstances that can prevent you from, and then there's like all sorts of mental health issues that can prevent you from pursuing something. But saying that there's writer's block is a fiction. We all know that there are writing strategies, there are mechanisms. I mean, some people tend to write a whole lot when they're supposed to be doing something else. So, and this is true for almost everybody. When we're doing something we don't want to do, like, I don't know, work, we tend to work on, that's when we get a lot of our writing done. And if to say authors out there aren't doing that, they're lying. You are friggin' lying. I can tell you that right now. It used to be me. That was me in college. I'd be sitting in a lecture and be like, fuck this lecture. Buildings Roman, fuck that. I don't care. Talk about Jane Austen or... Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are huge Jane Austen fans. In fact, I don't mind some of her work. I mean, I've read Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. I get it. But some of the lectures, and I'm sorry, Dr. Bavona, love you, but... yeah, your lectures were just killing me some days. So a lot of my creative writing got done in those classes. And as an adult, after college, as a grown person, even though I was grown in college, a lot of my work gets done when I'm on break at work. So I'll be on break, and for some reason I'll have the inspiration, the motivation, I guess it's the environment that I'm in, where I just write a story as I'm going through my day. I'll just sit there and write a quick short story and send it an email to myself and move on throughout the day. I mean, I did that a lot when I was working at Argosy University, Everest College, pretty much every school I've been to, because of the nature of enrollment, the nature of advising it wasn't always consistent. Sometimes you were doing more email than you were speaking to people, or sometimes while you're speaking, you just had that opportunity while you're taking notes to jot down a few ideas about what creative work you're working on. Now, that's a great conducive environment for like poetry or short story, but for the novel, at home, you need, or when you work on your novel elsewhere, you almost look like a madman. At least I do, because in my office, I've got it looks like I'm trying to bring down the world's most sophisticated mob bosses, because I've got who, what, where, when. You know, I've got my vision board. I've got yarn going from different places of where things take place. And, you know, I describe different scientific things as I'm going. I got like 92 tabs open on my computer. So that's what's going on when I'm at home. I look like I'm researching for the FBI. You know, like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, what type of things are you doing, Dave, in there? But no, I'm writing. I'm working on my novel. I mean, I've got my roadmap. My roadmap is my PowerPoint that I set up to kind of help navigate my novel. It kind of breaks things down by chapter and what I want to achieve per chapter. And then after that, it's pretty much, you know, a combination of free writing and then very concentrated dialogue cues that I set up for myself. You'll understand when you read the book. You'll be like, I see what he did there. But yeah, I'm I'm on chapter 10. Still working through chapter 10. I'll be on chapter 20 hopefully by the end of the week because we have movers coming in tomorrow, and everything pretty much about my laptop is going to be disappeared, even the table that I'm sitting at right now. My office will be gone. It'll be just me, laptop, tablets, kids, air mattresses. Yeah, that's roughly about it. Because we're moving to Arizona, thank goodness. That is a tale for another time. But what I'm really trying to focus on here is what's holding you back. And I'll tell you what held me back. Just to be fair to the audience, just to be fair to everybody, it took me, so I went to college I started going to college in 2008. I didn't get my first book out until last year, so there's a decade of, publishing in journals, publishing in magazines, and just writing a whole lot of content without being published. And that's where I was for a long time. And I think a lot of people are just legitimately afraid of how people are going to receive them. But that's why we have editors. That's why we have, it's worth the money, honestly, to pay somebody who's not in your familial circle to give you feedback, to give you a response on your writing. So that's what you're looking for. Hold on, Steve, I'm doing my podcast. Sorry, that's my brother popping in from the world of Discord. He's playing World of Warcraft, and I'm working on my podcast. So, needless to say, it took me a while to get published. And what was holding me back, I think it was just being well received. I was well received with my family, well received with those at school, and I valued people's input at school. I really did. And there's a few professors that read my work and really gave me some really good critical feedback, which is what I needed. But I still needed that outside eye, somebody who is a consummate reader and who has worked with professional authors to get their work out there and to be picked up by an agent. So I sought out an editor that was on that level of work. Paid her, I think altogether, I paid her like $120 to read my book and give me honest feedback. She wrote probably a good 2-3 pages per short story in response. She didn't just go after the grammar. Anybody can go after grammar. I have Grammarly, I have other tools that help me with grammar. But she went after story continuity, what she got out of it as a reader, and to me, it was well worth the money. If you go to Amazon right now and you type in Hell's Waiting Room and Other Stories, it's in there, and I would really encourage you to check out my book. It's on Amazon. It's called Hell's Waiting Room and Other Stories, stories that make you feel like you've been punched in the mouth. And that's the impact I wanted. I want the reader to walk away from my stories like, damn, that's an interesting story, or hey, that's a hard-hitting one, that one's got a lot of action, a lot of bing, bang, boom, and you kind of left feeling like, I just feel like I just got socked in the mouth. What happened there? But that's the intention with my stories. Now, if you don't feel that way once you've gotten through my book, then give me that feedback. I need that feedback too. And there's some people that have honestly said, well, some stories are that way. Some stories fall within that continuity the way you want. And then some stories are more bland. They're a little bit lower on that scale, so they don't follow that want or desire. I have a few longer stories in there that are just kind of complex and more mysterious versus the hard-hitting intrigue ones that I do front load with. So there is that, and that's valuable feedback for me, and I've gotten great feedback. And here's what I need as far as feedback too. Those of you who have read my book or are interested in reading my book, once you have successfully read my book, please leave me a review. That's feedback for me as an author. If you're not jiving with the book, let me know. If it's hitting on all cylinders for you as a reader, and there's a great mix-up of varying type of stories that you enjoyed, then yeah, give me that feedback too. But having no feedback and having nobody leave you A response is also feedback, but it's not it's not feedback that says where I need to improve as a writer. And it's going to give me very good insight as to what I need to do come my novel, which is going to be out here shortly. I've got a poetry book that I'm like 6 poems away from getting out there. Can't wait to get it out there. It's called Our Streaming Lives, and it's, I think, 35, 40 pages, not very long, but this is literally circled around Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, anywhere where we draw entertainment from and stream. So I definitely have some good ones there, and I'm putting it out there, and I'll have that out there hopefully very shortly. I've got a lot to work on as far as my projects to finalize them. I still have to do get them all in format correctly, and once I format them all correctly, they'll be ready to get out to the world. So right now where I'm at is I definitely want to ask that question though. That question needs to be asked, like, what is holding you back? I mean, you've done your due diligence. You've gotten several, you got feedback from people outside your writing circle, outside your family. And if it's been positive feedback, now it comes time to put up the money and put up the time, put up the energy to get out there further than magazines, further than journals, and publish out there for the. Okay, honey. Sorry, that was my daughter. But yeah, so what is holding you back? What things are you missing out there? And this is why I love the Twitterverse. For me, I get a lot of ideas from the world of Twitter, people on Twitter, and a lot of the writing community. And this is what I love. I mean, I've got some great inspiration about topics from you guys. So, it's hand sanitizer.
Why?
Well, it's because we need it sometimes. Oh. All right, can you go find Mom? You want to drink that?
I'm getting out of that room.
Okay. Take your Skittles.
Mm-mm.
Or don't.
Can I turn the...
So...
Can I turn that light on?
Yeah, I'll do it in just a minute. Can you give me just a minute, baby? 1 second, guys, even though I'm live on air. Honey, Dad's at work, okay? I'm working. Alright. So, like Rebecca Renner, she says I got my first story rejection of the year. Yay, question mark. Now, Rebecca, that happens. I have a fat stack of rejection letters. And it really hits home because it's like, okay, I got the rejection. You're not going to publish my work, but you're not giving me critical feedback that says what you're looking for or why my storybook or whatever, etc., didn't hit the mark with you and wasn't marketable in your eyes. Okay, baby. So that's something that I would love feedback on. Any author would. Anybody. If Jenny, just go upstairs, honey. Dad's working. Daddy's working. So I bought a book, Stranger Things book, the first official Stranger Things novel, Suspicious Minds by Gwenda Bond. Now, the whole reason I picked up this book, not just because the cover is just amazingly bitching, but I was already bought and sold into the world and the universe of Stranger Things. So as soon as that novelization or a novel came out that's kind of a predecessor, I was already bought and sold. I was already like integrated into that want to buy. Okay. So sometimes there's a for those of you who have kind of been living in other people's universe for a little bit, like for me, Predator. I have a fan fiction Predator novel damn near complete. And it's fan fiction. I don't know if I'll be able to ever get the rights to publish it. I'd have to do some writing, reorganization, begging, and editing in order to make that work. But that's the goal. I want my book to be part of that echelon of Predator Alien universe, because I thoroughly enjoyed reading all those novels, AVP. I've read all the Predator novels. I've read all the Alien novels. I am just steeped in that universe and love it. I just live in that mode, which is fantastic. It's great to live in a universe for a while, but sometimes once we've been ingrained into a universe for a while, we kind of want to respond to it. And I saw this, I think it was on Patreon or somewhere, I saw this wonderful fan fiction that was the BAU from Criminal Minds is hunting down Dexter from the show Dexter, and it was brilliantly done. Like, the way it was articulated, the way the characters' dialogue was, and how it worked within the context of the story fit my idea of how it would go down on film. And it was brilliant. I haven't been able to find it since I read it. That's a very sad thing, because I would love to share it with you guys. But it was just fan-fucking-tastic. I even came up with like an idea like, damn, maybe I should do that and try and make it work, because it takes off right at the end of Dexter and right at I think it was like season 11 or 12 of Criminal Minds. It blends so well. Characters are so dynamic, and it works. It just fits from what I read. So, but yeah, fan fiction has its place, and if you're happy and content working in that universe, or you're happy and content being a writer that really helps build, like Star Wars writers, Star Trek writers, they're building the canon of stories and story arcs and universe and world of others, which is great. Gene Roddenberry would be proud of how many people have taken on the mantle and furthered the idea of Star Trek, which is amazing. And George Lucas too with Star Wars. Those who have taken that narrative and that film and made it into the universe it is, thank you, I applaud you, great work. Now, going back to those writers that are still on the fence about getting their work out there, now, another mechanism to get yourself out there to see if you're going to be well consumed is maybe pen under a pseudonym. That may help you. If you feel like, hey, you're not getting a lot of feedback that you need, and you're really trying to get out there as a writer, and make a living doing it because you just love the craft so much, then try penning under a pseudonym. A lot of writers do it. A lot of writers have very purposeful pseudonyms that really speak to what they write and how they address their novels. Like Alexander Kent, who writes historical fiction. That is not his actual name. I think his name's Samuel something. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it's brilliantly done. It is friggin' amazing. His cadence is I don't even know how to describe it. It's like just so fun to read and consume as a reader. And it's brilliant. Simon Scarrow's the same way. Love the way he storytells, the way Connie Golden storytells, the way certain people have a cadence that you just enjoy. When I was reading the Sebastian Dark novels and the Vampirates novels, they were just amazing. They were brilliant.
Daddy?
Yeah, baby?
I want you to catch me upstairs.
Not right now. Daddy's working.
I want you to catch me upstairs.
Daddy's working, honey. Can Daddy work for a little bit longer?
No.
Well, I know you said no, but Daddy's got to work.
No.
I have to work.
There's no more in there.
Yes, there is. Look. Try it. All right, guys. So it's not gonna be too much longer of a show. I'm just kind of getting out there, trying to get some ideas going about and kind of address that topic. Why people don't get out there quicker. And sometimes I guess it may be the medium too, because I've found more of a voice in podcast than I have even in my own writing, and I love to write. So when it comes to everything, it might be just the medium, or you may have an idea about what stories you want to write, but you're just.
Daddy, I opened the cat.
Yeah, but you don't drink it, honey. It's not to drink.
Why?
Because it's not. It will hurt you, honey.
Why?
Because it's not to drink. It's for your hands.
Oh, why?
Yeah, just because it cleans hands. That's what it does.
Why?
Because that's what it does. Anyway, so it may be the medium. I mean,
Hey,
let's say
Daddy,
you're a writer,
you're not
you love to
talking to nobody.
craft stories, but you're more
You're
visual.
not talking to nobody.
Maybe look.
Daddy, you're not talking to nobody.
Honey, I'm talking to a lot of people right now.
No, you're not.
I am actually.
No, you're not.
Actually am.
No, you're not.
Okay. So it may be the medium.
Hey, Daddy.
I've composed more, like I said,
Hey,
through
Dad.
podcasts than through comic books. Hold on, guys.
No, no.
I'm not going to do anything. You get upstairs.
Okay.
Dad's busy. Take these with you.
Nope. You're talking so.
Yeah, I know. Go. Oh my goodness.
Hey, Daddy, I have to catch me upstairs.
I'm not trying to catch you upstairs, honey. Go. Maria? Hey, I'm working on my podcast. Can you keep her upstairs? Go see Mom. Dad's working.
I'm catching me upstairs.
I'm not gonna catch you upstairs. Dad's working, honey. You know what? I'm just gonna end my podcast. Fuck it. Fuck you guys.
Daddy. 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 Dad.
Baby, I'm busy.
Oh, I don't want to work.
Alright, guys. So I'm gonna call it because my family calls. There's no way I'm gonna get any further in my podcast alone. So I bid everybody a good night, and I really hope that you guys get a chance to delve into that question. If you have any feedback for me regarding that question, shoot me an email at dwelch9627@gmail.com, or hit me up on Twitter at dwelch9627. I can't wait to hear back from you. Have a great day.